Well, hello. Welcome to another fantastic webinar brought to you by Blue Star Careers. On this occasion, we want to acknowledge Veteran Small Business Week to include, of course, our military spouse community. Our topic for today is how can military spouses leverage entrepreneurship and secure a portable career? We know that based on some of our data, about 1 in 4 military spouses are entrepreneurs or have some kind of self-employment career portable that is working for them. And so with this specific webinar, we want to make sure that we give those that think outside the box the opportunity to get the resources that they need in order for them to leverage this specific route. Let's not all get excited because entrepreneurship, of course, is not for everyone. And of course, our presenters and our panel experts today, which is a very, very rich panel, is going to share with us their experiences and the best resources where you, the military spouse, can get the most out of entrepreneurship and really launch your career in this particular path. We have Monica Fullerton, military spouse and founder and CEO of Spousely, Dr. Ken Gay, CEO and founder of Kenneth Gay Education, and Victoria Carlborg, also who is a military spouse and a workforce development coordinator at the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce. So please share with us where you're watching, and we want to send you a shout out. And if you own a business, please share it with us in the comments. Tell us what your business is. We want to be able to highlight you, of course, but also I want to be able to gift you coffee on me. So we're going to randomly select one of our audience members who have a small business, and I would love to be able to give you a shout out and give you a recognition for your business. So let's get started. Thank you so much for watching, and post your questions. Let us know. Thank you. So once again, welcome. Thank you for joining us for this Blue Star Careers webinar. It's always such a pleasure to bring you topics and direct workforce development solutions for military spouses so that they can leverage the best out of their career trajectory. On this particular case, we have a great panel today, as you can see already, our phenomenal and enthusiastic entrepreneurs who are here to share and share with you, with a military spouse who thinks outside the box, how can military spouses leverage entrepreneurship and secure a portable career? So without further ado, I'm going to go straight around my Brady Bunch situation here set up and ask Dr. Ken Gray to please introduce himself and tell us more about himself and his journey.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, first of all, thank you to the Blue Star families and Laura yourself for inviting me on this wonderful panel and the fellow panel guests. I'm Kenneth Gay, CEO and founder of Kenneth Gay Education, LLC. We make schools better. We do this by virtual training, in-person and flexible training, schools kindergarten through 12th grade. We also provide social emotional learning training for adults to include parents in the school system. So I am a very happy, proud education consultant. I'm also a military veteran, and also I'm the proud alumni chapter lead for the Rosie Network alumni chapter service to CEO program, in which we provide training for spouses of military veterans and veterans who are interested in entrepreneurship, no matter if you're at the ideology stage or if you've been in business for a number of years and you're looking to scale your business. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And thank you for all that you do. This is such an incredible work that is definitely needed within our military community. Thank you. Monica, welcome. How are you doing today? Please introduce yourself.
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me, Laura, and Blue Star families. Hi, everyone. I'm Monica Fullerton. I am the founder and CEO of Spousely. I am also a proud Air Force spouse, a twin mom, and a corporate businesswoman turned entrepreneur out of my own pure frustration and inspiration on this journey. For many of you that if you don't know, Spousely is an online marketplace where you can shop a wide variety of both products and services, all created by military and first responder families. So as you can see, I'm really excited about what we're talking about today because our community is filled with so much talent.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you once again also for such an incredible product that you have created. I'm sure it's serving some great, it's giving a lot of entrepreneurs an opportunity in the marketplace for sure. Ms. Victoria, welcome. Thank you so much for your participation. I know you are crunching on time, so we take your time very kindly and I pretty much appreciate it. So please introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. Nice to meet the other panelists, and thank you, everybody, for being on the stream today. I'm Victoria Carlborg. I do oversee a workforce development initiative at the Oceanside, California Chamber of Commerce. We are here to support our small businesses and small business owners and entrepreneurs like yourselves. We have in this area, of course, many very large concentration of military spouses and veterans in our community. So we've always supported them for 126 years. But for the last year and a half, we are making a more intensive intent push on finding, collecting you, trying to figure out what you need and help to support you in any way we can. We've been offering a military spouse incubator. We're about to start an accelerator. We're starting just to have all sorts of different programs to support our military spouses and their entrepreneurship journey. And I do have a background in communications and outreach, and I also work for the Small Business Administration in Washington, D.C. for the Office of Advocacy and Regulatory Affairs. So I do know how difficult it is. I've heard their complaints from small business owners for many years. And so my job is to sort of be the complaint problem solver there. And I'm continuing that on a smaller scale in our community. So happy to be with you all.
Great. Thank you so much. And so, Victoria, you're more like the solution creator, in my view, right?
I think so. I think I saw that on
not complaints.
Yeah.
We don't complain. It's more of solutions.
That is true. I saw that people have that as a title now. Have you seen that in corporate America? You know, pretty yes. Interesting title.
Absolutely. But talking about titles, I mean, of course, you know, I really want to put Dr. Ken here on the spot and ask him, you know, why was this route such a good fit for you, especially after the military? And how did this blend with your lifestyle?
So that's a great question. So just a little small background. I have over 20 years of public school education in some of the tougher schools in the Houston, Texas and East Texas area. Started off as a classroom teacher, later became assistant principal, high school principal, and worked in central administrators, as far as with dealing with discipline for the entire district. Simultaneously being in the Army Reserve, you know, started off as an enlisted soldier, non-commissioned officer, and then officer. So entrepreneurship has always been something that I wanted to do. During the pandemic, my reserve unit was actually at Fort Hood, and I was serving in the role as a battalion commander. And to get very quickly to the point that some of my former assistant principals who are now principals knew I thought outside of the box and started asking for advice. And the more and more I started sharing with them, I thought to myself, you know what? We always used to have education consultants coming in. Why can't I do it? And then I started thinking to myself, who better to provide training for teachers and parents and students? I've been in the trenches. I know what is needed, not just giving ideology, but actually giving practical things that actually work from advice from other educators who normally don't get the voice to share and students. So it quickly prompted me to start looking for resources, more so along in the veteran entrepreneurship world, to start equipping me with the tools I needed to start putting things together and creating a business and an LLC. And so that's how I kind of looked at things. I kind of found an opportunity for something that I was currently doing and had a passion about, that I knew that I can hit the ground running, and I had practical solutions that I could provide for a problem.
Wonderful. Thank you. And, you know, it's again, it's all about thinking sometimes outside the box or looking ahead, you know, in your community to see what are some of those issues, challenges that our community members face, and then for you to step up and see a solution and provide a service, while at the same time you are perhaps engaging in some paid work and making it happen for you. Now, Ms. Monica, how about you? How did you just work out one day? I know you share a little bit in your intro, but why is this such a good fit for you, and how did it blend it?
Yeah, oftentimes as a military spouse, we find ourselves thinking, how am I going to be able to do it all? How am I going to piece the puzzle together? Because as many of you know, military families usually relocate every 2 to 3 years. And oftentimes spouses kind of have to take the backseat on that journey in terms of their own personal career and choices that they want to have for themselves. So for my personal story, I was very lucky. I was working a full-time remote career. It was amazing. Salary was great, but the passion was missing. And I just remember thinking, after almost a decade into this job, I settled. Why did I settle? And, a lot of times military spouses do have to settle because it can be hard to find what fits into our lifestyle. And I just remember thinking in that moment, it doesn't have to be like this. There's so much talent within our community alone. If I can create a platform that helps inspire and empower military spouses to see that you can do what you love while living a life on the go, that is something that I would love to go all in on. And so I quit my corporate career and went all in on building Spousely and have not looked back since, because as I mentioned before, our community is filled with makers, creators, entrepreneurs. And Laura, you touched on it a little bit. Entrepreneurship isn't for everybody, and that is totally fine. I think it always boils down to, what does success look like for you personally? What do you want out of it? How are you going to feel fulfilled? Because the last thing you want to happen on this journey is regret. You don't want to look back and be like, man, I could have, I should have done this and I didn't. So that's what I'm all about, is really stepping into, if I can do it, you can do it too, no matter what that looks like.
Fabulous. I'm glad that you mentioned this, and do you recap on that? Yeah, it's not for everybody, because it's very true. We have a ton of, opportunities out there, and there's abundance of resources for individuals to launch your business. But once you're actually in that front seat, it's really hard to stay active and engaged in any. It's like any job. It really requires work. It's important, but it also, I think it also gives you a lot of great satisfaction because it allows you to tailor it to your specific needs. Now, with that, I want to zigzag to our question, which is for this particular webinar, as we celebrate with our partners all across the U.S. and in the world, of course, entrepreneurs. How can military spouses leverage entrepreneurship and secure a portable career? Victoria, you as a community supporter and advocate, looking from this particular topic from a chamber lens and a resource provider, what is your take on this?
Well, I think it's tough. I think I echo what Ken and Monica have said. You have to look at yourself and go, I have some skills and I think I can pivot and leverage. I've done that too. I had, a whole career. I followed my Marine Corps husband around for 20 years, and it was super, super hard, right? To always plan ahead. And then sometimes we planned to move and then they didn't move us. So I actually had a job offer and then we didn't end up moving there. And I thought, why am I going around in these circles, right? And I thought, what, after, whether you've been doing this for whatever this is, whatever your passion is, whether you're an educator, you're an entrepreneur, whatever, maybe my suggestion is to look at yourself and say, even if I've done this for 5 years, 15, 20, 25, 30, it's not too late to kind of figure out what this is and sort of, reach out to your community. And, I see we have people from all over the country on this call. So, you can reach out virtually, which is so great. We can support you as a military spouse community from our small chamber of commerce. But if you are local and in person, come on by, talk with us. We offer free consultations, to kind of sit down and talk about you. We introduce, you and what you like to do. We introduce you to our community partners, and just to really figure out what is it that you're passionate about? What are your talents? What's your skill set? What would you like to do to kind of map out the next piece of your life? And can you make a living at it? And probably you can, like everyone's been saying here, you can think outside the box. And there's a lot of people, here on this panel and in our communities who are just waiting to help you. They helped us as well. I mean, I've always been a freelance writer and editor, always, even when I was working full time in communications roles. And I didn't realize until later, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, because I was making money, but I thought, why do I have to do it for someone else? I can do it for myself. rather than go through a third party. So even I had to do sort of like a rethinking and thinking outside the box and thinking, gosh, I could make a little bit more money if I didn't have to pay that third party, that fee, to do my W-2 or whatever it was. So really there's a lot of opportunities. We just wrap our arms around you. We've been working with, I'll give you one quick example, a local trucking company. They have a fleet of 5 trucks, and they are using this pandemic to their advantage because we have a supply chain problem. So myself and a partner met with them and gave them some free technical assistance to help take their business to the next level. And of course, that benefits us because we are a membership and advocacy association. So hopefully they'll join our chamber. They don't have to, though, but that's kind of the hope. So it's a win-win for everybody.
That's you, Monica. What's your take on this? You're living the lifestyle and you support on a regular basis all those hundreds of entrepreneurs that come to you.
Yeah, this is a really interesting topic because there's a lot of vendors on Spousely that also are still, working a career and also running their small business. There's some that have gone all into entrepreneurship, and there's some who have started a business to just sell on Spousely. And as I mentioned before, it all goes back to, what does success look like for you? What do you want out of it? How does that fit into your lifestyle and this puzzle that we live in? But what I will say at Spousely, we are all about really shining light on our community for everything that they should and deserve to be known for. For example, we have vendors that are nurses, that are, small business owners, our moms, our military spouses. And it really just shows you that no matter what you want to do personally, there are resources, there are tools, there are communities that are waiting and wanting to lift you up on this journey. So for me personally, going all in on entrepreneurship to finally be able to do what I personally love the most is supporting others on their journey, finding ways that we can empower and uplift one another. I am totally on cloud 9 because now I do get to do it with hundreds and hundreds of vendors, but also really just showing how if we can, come together as a community and provide all the right tools, resources, and platform to shine on, it is possible sometimes when it feels like it's not.
Absolutely, and the main thing, like, is takeaway when it comes to entrepreneurship, and but of course with any career is you're not alone. We're all in this together, and so reach out to your resources, your network, and empower yourself. Not everything will work for you, but definitely there will be some great partners and resources, mentors that will guide you into the right path and the right product for you. Like Victoria said, so to make sure that you actually can make money, right, and provide a good solution. Now, Dr. Ken, how about you? You on through your personal educational services, but also as a provider and supporter of at the Rosie Network, you provide all the alumni and you guide them all into the next step of branching the business. What is your take? How can military spouses or service members leverage entrepreneurship to secure a profitable career?
Yeah, so this is one thing that I want to share with the audience that I had to learn the hard way. Make sure that you find a good mentor that is successful, and you want the type of mentor whose time is very valuable. So if you pick up the phone to call them, 5 minutes is golden. That person's 5 minutes is equivalent to someone probably paying them $1,000 for their time. So therefore, that you're putting together all the things in place to make sure that you're not asking them anything they're going to tell you could have researched yourself. The entrepreneurship is very tough, but it's very rewarding. It's like a roller coaster ride. It has its ups and it has its downs. It's not for the faint of heart. If you don't have that grit, if you don't have that perseverance, entrepreneurship probably is not for you. Because if you're not making a profit, you basically just have a hobby that you're doing. Entrepreneurship means that you're providing a profit to yourself, your employees. So with that being said, one of the things that I'd share when it comes to resources is starting with yourself. Is that the hardest concept, and I had a hard time understanding, is my mentor told me, hey, sometimes you got to give things away free when you're starting out. I said, what? I'm trying to start a business. I'm not making any money. But listen to me, audience. Oftentimes, you don't even know if the product or services that you have are even needed or wanted. So how do you find out? I don't care if you bake cookies. I don't care if you clean floors. Find worthy opportunities that you can provide these services and go on and share, hey, I'd like to offer these cookies, to this group home, to these kids at a juvenile facility. I would like to clean floors at this particular nonprofit organization because I've seen your floors are dirty. You don't realize, oftentimes by doing things for free, that you get an opportunity to get feedback, or you get opportunities for others to validate your work. Then you have free advertising. People are going to say, well, hey, those cookies taste so great. Those floors are cleaned so well. So I'm being giving some small examples, but what'll happen is the word will start spreading. And what you'll find is you'll get feedback to find out exactly how you can improve. Because oftentimes, if you spend a lot of money on these fancy websites, on all these advisors, you're like $2,000 or $5,000 in the hole when you could have just offered some services away for free and start off with a profit a month later. But the main thing with the resources, we can provide all the resources we want in the world. But unless you know your services are wanted by others, you'll never know if it's even needed. So it's hard for people to give you advice. So I strongly suggest starting off by providing services for free, because you're not going to always give it away for free, but it'll give you a chance to have immediate feedback to see if your product or services are needed, or where you may need to tweak or partner with others to make your product or service better.
Wonderful. That's a great advice. Definitely partnering up. And it's almost like with careers, in careers, people that are looking for a job, we always say sometimes volunteer with a purpose to test out, to see if that job or that industry is actually a good field for you, and it fits with your specific career goals. So now here's a question for everyone. Those of you who, of course, especially those two of you who are very active right now in the entrepreneurship ecosystem, what are some of those lessons learned? What would you do differently if you had the opportunity to start all over again your career journey as an entrepreneur?
Ooh, can I jump in first?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the best advice that I can give is don't hold yourself back. I think oftentimes when we are thinking about entrepreneurship, creating a company, we want it to look perfect from the start. We want the graphics to be good, the branding to be great. We want the messaging, everything. So we overthink all those details, and we, end up spending lots more money than we really needed to. And in reality, people want to be a part of your journey. Your customers, your supporters, your partners, they want to be a part of the ride. So they want to see the real, the raw, the wins, the losses along the way. And that is something I learned very quickly when I launched Spousely. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I wanted everything to look perfect. I wanted the brand to look like it had been existing for longer than it had. But that ended up kind of, working in a not in our benefit, because people would be like, oh, yeah, I didn't know that you needed more customers, or I didn't know you needed more vendors because I thought you guys have just been around for so long. Everything looks so perfect. So just remember that perfection is not key on this journey. It's about the ride and everything, and the lessons that you learn along the way that help you build into a stronger business as you grow personally and in the business.
Wonderful. That is great advice. And by the way, I'm not a perfectionist, so I will be a good match with you. I will balance you out, Monica, big time.
I like it. Deal.
One of my full disclosure when I meet someone is like, if you are a perfectionist, then that's not me. But I will balance you out.
I love it.
Great. Perfect. Thank you. What about you, Dr. Ken? What are some of those lessons learned that you personally have experienced, and what would you do differently?
No, I'm sitting here laughing because as I'm listening to you all talk, look, I can hear like two of my strong mentors that don't even know each other tell me the same thing. So it's coming in strong. So what I would share is, even if you're good at 4 or 5 different things, when you start off with entrepreneurship, choose one. Don't try to bake a cake, make cupcakes, make pies, make pizzas. Find that one thing, make sure that it's working so well that you have money that's generating coming in, and then you start. And I say that to say that starting off as an education consultant, I was like, man, I know school district. I'm definitely going after school district contracts. I also want government contracts because I do these particular things. I want to do blah, blah, blah. I've worked with colleges and universities. So I had a lot of spinning wheels initially happening my first couple of months. And when I sat back and I thought to myself, you know what? I really need to go back and concentrate on the first thing and that one thing. And what I found out was when I concentrated 100% of my energy to the one thing, that I started seeing things happening, and I started being able to obtain contracts, and things started moving smoothly. And believe it or not, some of the things that I wanted to do before, opportunities started providing themselves just for the simple fact I started getting good at one particular thing. So what I would share is try to concentrate on the one specific thing that you have as far as with your service or with your product. Try not to be in two different spaces, because your audience and your potential customers will get confused, because they'll be like, okay, are you an education consulting company? Are you a motivational speaker? Are you an author? So when you're putting your products out, whether it be on social media or on your website, your audience needs to know exactly what your brand stands for and exactly what services you're providing. And I think if you do that, that will help for a great start for you to begin. Because if not, the mistake what you'll make is you'll be spinning your wheels. You'll look up a year later and you'll almost be there with 4 different businesses, as opposed to had you concentrated on one business, you would be producing profits.
Love that.
Love that. That is such a wonderful feedback and advice. And for some of us who are very like, oh, I just got to do it now. Slow down, pace yourself, and think about it. What about you, Victoria? What are some of those lessons learned that you have seen from the individuals that you provide solutions for, and that you will suggest,
Mhm.
that maybe do differently as they engage in their career path?
Yeah, I think a good example of that, definitely echoing what Ken and Monica have been saying. Definitely sitting down with a mentor or somebody like our incubator. The first class is how to develop your business plan. So and you're incubating your idea, and we'll teach you how to get your LLC and all of that, especially for portable businesses. That's important. But definitely having that business plan and that marketing plan. And like Monica said, it doesn't have to look, beautiful, whatever, but at least to kind of get your ideas down on paper, so to speak, and with someone who's experienced, I think is really important. If your spouse, excuse me, so my spouse isn't in the service anymore, but I wish I would have planned to have my own business or consulting before he retired. That way I could take a risk and I wouldn't have to worry about, if I had a financial flop, right? Or having to rely so much. So I would advise, and I do advise other spouses with whom we work, to consider starting their business now, especially, as part of the transition plan. Start early and kind of experiment. That's a great time to experiment. It's not as risky as when he or she transitions out of the service and you're like, oh my goodness, now I have to worry about this business and focusing and paying my rent or mortgage and eating and all of that, especially now with prices being so high. So I would definitely advise that. And, spouse who her husband had transitioned out, she invented a product, a baked good. She started out at the local farmers market, and that's how she got feedback that Ken was talking about, right? And then her marketing volunteered to help her with her marketing and promotion. And now she has a brick and mortar, and she's a member of our chamber, and we're doing all sorts of little events together and everything. She's there to return the love for the community, and especially the military spouse community. So that's a nice anecdote. But she definitely started early and experimented. And but I would caution, thinking about before he or she gets out of the service. That's a really good thing. I mean, you can start after, especially if you're going to do a brick and mortar. You can look for financing. We're having a reboot, a business or a boots to business reboot with the Small Business Administration next week. We're having it at our chamber. It'll also be hybrid, so I'll share the link with Laura if anybody from outside of the area who can't attend in person would like to come. But those are just all good places to try out ideas and bounce off ideas and get feedback from other people, your peers. But yeah, definitely that was good advice. Have that business plan prior. I actually worked for an organization, shall remain nameless, that I found out later they were really struggling. They never had a business plan. They had a startup. They were a startup, and I worked for them, a small business without a business plan. Hard to imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it happens. It happens in the best of places, right?
Yeah.
But definitely nowadays, of course, because it gives you a structure. It's like when when you're in school and you have to write an essay, you have to do that rough draft, or you have to write that outline
Yes.
first in order for you to move forward. You have to have a little bit of a vision in order for you to stay, like Dr. Ken said, stay in one path first, become really good at it, and then develop multiple areas of expertise and multiple businesses. And then once you know the one is super successful, then engage in multiple ways for you to streamline your cash flow, of course. Now, for that, I want to ask Monica, what are you working on and how can our community support you? By the way, team, the audience who is watching, please, I want to remind you to please post where you're watching. Tell us, we want to send you a shout out, as well as if you have owned a business, please put it in the comments. I want to be able to select you for a coffee on me so that we can you can show up to your business, your desk, at your convenience with incredible coffee and just chill for the rest of the day. But yes, and we want to be able to also support you. But yeah, Miss Monica, back to you. So what are you working on and how can our community support you?
Yes, before I dive into that, I just want to piggyback really fast off of the business plan. I found an amazing tool that I want to share with everyone because it is game changer. It's called Live Plan. I don't know if any of you have heard of that, but it is incredible. It's basically like a plug and play to create your business plan as well as projections. And it's very, very cheap. It's like a monthly fee, but it's so nice for those that, aren't as savvy when it comes to really outlining how it should be. It's like a plug and play. So it's called Live Plan. For anyone listening, definitely check it out. It has saved us so many times and absolutely love it. So what's next for Spousely? What do we have going on? Well, the holidays are right around the corner. So I would like to encourage everyone to shop small on Spousely because you are directly supporting military spouses, veterans, Gold Star families, service members, and first responder small business owners all in one easy spot. So we also have our gift and giving guide that is launching later today in partnership with Sandbox, and Blue Star Families is in there for the giving piece as well. So just any support when it comes to shopping, whether you become a vendor, a customer, a supporter, you are helping us put more funds in the pockets of our nation's heroes by supporting their businesses.
Wonderful. And may I just, underline that you're also supporting careers because
Yes.
an entrepreneur in their business, that's a career. So
Yep.
this is a careers webinar because we believe in careers in all shapes and sizes and all different thinking outside the box directions. So Dr.
Absolutely.
Ken, thank you,
Yeah.
Monica, for all that. What are you working on and how can we all support you and yeah, help you expand?
No, I appreciate that. So I think my information in the chat. Please, if you need to reach out to me, please reach out to me at kennethgayeducation.com. Reach out to me on LinkedIn at Dr. Kenneth Gay. And I look forward to meeting with you. But what I'm working on right now is my continuing just service to wanting to see veterans and spouses of veterans into entrepreneurship. So with that being said, how can you help me is by helping yourself. It's the entrepreneur and the educator in me. You have wonderful programs out there like Bunker Labs. The Rosie Network serves the CEO program, which the Rosie Networks has a curriculum that will help you that is free of charge. And the greatest thing is it helps you not only with your business, it gives you an opportunity to work alongside peers who may be in different businesses. And believe it or not, you'll find so many resources from your peers. So I just want to share this. It's so important that I've learned from being a civilian and an entrepreneur and a military veteran. There are so many free resources for veterans and spouses of veterans that are not given to just regular civilians. Please take your opportunities for them because oftentimes they are free. And I will share this as well. It doesn't matter if you live in a large city or a small rural town. Most universities or community colleges provide free incubator trainings, whether it be working with business plans, marketing strategies. You just have to put forth the effort and make sure that you apply for these particular things and look out for them. But my main thing is don't be afraid. It may be tough, but once you join this entrepreneurship journey, you have a brother and sisterhood of other veterans and spouses of veterans that are there to try to help you.
Absolutely. And once again, just want to recap, don't do it alone. We're all in this together with you. And by that also, our local Chamber of Commerce, like representatives like Victoria, tell us what are you working on and how can we all support you here at the local level?
Well, just definitely listening a lot to our members and constituents and just trying to fill in the gaps. We partner with all of the groups that Ken mentioned, for sure. And my goal with this program, because I'm only one person, right, is not to be duplicative. So if there's a gap for a business or a barrier for a job seeker / entrepreneur, and actually both can be entrepreneurs. So I'm trying to just listen and see where we can be helpful, but we will continue to provide at the local level, support with our incubator. We have a home-based childcare business module that we started, training module. We are, partnering with the local SBA to do the reboot and just anything we can do in some of our own original programming and training and support, mentorship, networking that we're going to continue to do at our chamber. Again, not to be duplicative, but so yeah, just keep in touch with me. I think Laura will also share my contact information if you have ideas, because we partner so much with the National Veterans Chamber of Commerce, with the great Joe Molina. We do a lot with him. It's actually expanded our reach. So many of our programs, particularly with the military spouses, have gone national because of that. And other things that I do have gone statewide and regional and national, just because of the nature of the work. So even if you're out of the area, I encourage you to reach out and we can at least get you connected to a point of contact who can assist you. Because yes, there is a lot of work. Not a lot of work. There's a lot of work for us to do. That's what I meant to say. And there are a lot of people out there to help you to accomplish that work. So whatever your niche is, whatever your talents are, I encourage you to pursue that, make some money while you have it, and do some good. And we'll help you. We got your back along the way.
And Victoria, while I have you there in discussion, share one top resource or one preferred resource that has made a difference to you or you have seen in some of the people within your solutions, your group.
Oh, wow. There's so many now, aren't there? Gosh, if I
Just
had
one.
to choose my
Yeah.
my top resource, wow. We help our spouses who are interested in starting up a business, start up a social media business as well. So that could be their business, home-based business, or everybody needs help, no matter if they have a brick and mortar or what. Everybody needs help with social media as well, right? It's hard to do it all. So I'd have to say that White Label Marketing, who we brought in as a partner through Joe Molina, they've been a resource, really, really helpful. Once the spouses go through the incubator, they go through an internship with White Label, and that's really helpful. And then in turn, they can intern with us, get some practice, build their portfolio. And that's a really great upskilling resource as well.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that. And how about you, Monica? What is one resource that has made a difference in your business, in your career, that you can share with our audience?
I'm going to say Bunker Labs. They've been a part of my journey since launching, and it's exactly what Dr. Ken had said. It's the community piece. That is what really can help you keep going on this journey, and that's exactly what Bunker Labs has provided to me. And this journey is just all the support. So Bunker Labs.
Wonderful. Thank you. And how about you, Dr. Ken?
I would say the Rosie Network Service to CEO program. So it doesn't matter if you're at the beginning phase, you're in the middle phase, or you're a entrepreneur that's been striving. It provides a wonderful curriculum that kind of walks you through step by step, that provides you practical activities, and it'll help you be set up for success. So I'd say the Rosie Network Service to CEO program.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for all of that. And for all of our audience members, I know I shared all of your LinkedIn and your websites as well, our audience. And I did want to acknowledge Angie, who's watching. We have several members, very shy. No one really posted their name, but I know we had Angie from Kentucky sharing and made a comment. So thank you so much for supporting. But for all the rest of you who are watching and definitely joining us all across the Blue Star Family social networks, thank you so much for supporting. All the resources that all of our guests here share will be shared, of course, and will be followed through all the sponsors virtual community. So be sure that you logged in and that you follow with our resource spotlight today, which is all about entrepreneurship and how you can launch your career as an entrepreneur and all the resources in order for you to be successful. But most importantly, that you for you to remember that you're not alone in any of this. We're all in here together. And if you think outside the box, then definitely entrepreneurship perhaps might be a good route for you. So anything else, community, that I can share before we wrap it on and we take off? Nope. Okay, great. Wonderful. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining and supporting. We have some members out here on our LinkedIn that are being a little shy and they didn't post anything. But all of those of you who are watching through our different social networks, please continue to post and put your questions, your comments, and support for our panel here today. And we'll definitely make sure that we make that connection for you so that you can reach them. And most importantly, launch your career as an entrepreneur. So thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.
Thank you.